It begins perfectly, as love often does. Every word feels right, every moment effortless. You think nothing can break it, but cracks form quietly. Little things, unspoken thoughts, silences too long start to shift the ground beneath you. Then suddenly, it all comes crashing down. One argument, one careless word, and the perfect love you held so close shatters. But the truth, it wasn't sudden. It was a slow unraveling, hidden in moments you didn't notice. Now, as you stand in the ruins, you realize it didn't fall apart in an instant. It had been fading, little by little, all along. But hindsight always makes the cracks seem clearer. You see the moments you ignored, the silences that grew too loud. You wish you had noticed sooner, had done something, anything to stop it from slipping away. But by the time you realize, it's too late. What was once perfect now lies in pieces, and all that's left is the space where love used to live. And yet, in the ruins, there's a strange kind of clarity. You understand now that nothing breaks in an instant. It fades, quietly, until it's gone. You start to piece together the story, wondering if things could have been different. Maybe if you'd listened more, held on tighter, or spoken when the silences grew too thick. But love, as strong as it once felt, is delicate. It requires nurturing, attention, and understanding in ways that are easy to miss when you assume everything is fine. You wonder how your arguments echo in their minds, how the distance between two people who once shared everything now stretches into the spaces where your children should feel safe. You wonder if they notice the silences, if they feel the cracks, if they're learning from your missteps. Then there are the children, caught in the middle of what used to be love, and is now something harder to define. You look at them and see their confusion, their quiet questions, their longing for things to feel whole again. And that's when the weight of it all really hits. It's not just about you and the person you once loved. It's about the little hearts that were built around that love. You want to fix it, not just for yourself, but for them. You want to gather up the pieces and put them back together to give them the security they deserve. But you also know, deep down, that some things can't be mended, not in the way they once were. And so you grieve. You grieve not just for the love you lost, but for the future that your children will never know. You ache for the times they'll ask why things had to change, and you'll struggle to find an answer that makes sense. But even in the grief, there's a quiet acceptance. You realize that sometimes love means letting go. It means understanding that two paths can no longer walk side by side, even when there are children involved. It means finding peace in the decision to move forward, even if the road ahead is unknown. In the end, you hold on to the hope that your children will see beyond the cracks, beyond the broken pieces, that they'll understand that love is not perfect, that life is not always easy, but that there's strength in continuing on. You hope that they'll find their own way, even in the midst of change, and that one day they'll look back and know that, despite everything, they were always loved.
It didn't begin this way. I didn't plan to leave, didn't want to. But love doesn't always go up in flames. Sometimes it fades, slowly, like the last streak of sunlight dissolving into night. You don't notice at first, because it's gradual, like a whisper disappearing into the wind. You keep telling yourself it will get better. He'll change, you'll change, but the space between you becomes a canyon, and no matter how hard you try to build a bridge, it keeps crumbling beneath you. I used to look at him and feel safe, like he was the only person in the world who truly saw me. But now, when I look at him, all I see is someone I don't recognize, a stranger wrapped in the skin of the man I thought I knew. Hes there, but unreachable, and I don't know how to love him anymore. Maybe that's on me, maybe I stopped trying too soon. But how do you keep holding on when the other person has already let go? He'll say I left, but the truth? I've been leaving piece by piece for a long time. Women don't walk out all at once. We break slowly. One day it's the laughter that feels foreign, forced. The next, it's the touch that feels like a stranger's hand on your skin. And then one morning, you wake up next to someone who no longer feels like home. It's not a choice, it's survival. I wonder if he noticed. If he saw the moments where I stopped fighting, stopped trying to fill the silences between us. Maybe he was just as tired as I was. Maybe we were both waiting for the inevitable end, too exhausted to stop it. But I stayed, hoping the memories we'd built together would be enough, hoping that love, so powerful once, could be reignited. But love isn't enough, is it? Not when every unspoken word hangs heavy in the air, weighing down every moment. Not when you feel more alone lying next to someone than you ever did on your own. Hell never understand why I left. Hell think it was sudden. Hell think I gave up. But I didn't. I gave up on pretending. Because in the end, it wasn't the fights that broke us. It was the quiet erosion of everything we once were, the way we let love wilt in silence, both too afraid to confront the truth. And the hardest part? I still love him.
Mommy and Daddy don't talk like they used to. They used to be happy, and we would all play together. But now, I hear them talk in voices that don't sound happy. Sometimes, when I'm in my room, I hear them say mean things to each other. They don't think I can hear, but I do. It makes me feel bad inside. I don't like it when they argue. Mommy says, I can't do this anymore, and Daddy says, you're always walking away. They both sound mad and sad at the same time. I don't understand why they're mad at each other. One time, I heard Daddy say, you're never here, and Mommy said, you stopped caring a long time ago. After that, the house was so quiet I could hear my heart beating fast, and I felt scared. Sometimes, Mommy says she's just tired when I ask her why she's sad. But I see her face when she's in the kitchen. She looks like she's about to cry, and her eyes look far away, like she's thinking about something that makes her upset. I try to hug her and ask if she's okay, and she smiles a little and says, I'm fine, sweetie. Don't worry. But I know she's not fine. Daddy used to play with me a lot. We would build Lego towers and he'd help me with puzzles. Now, he sits in his room a lot and stares at the TV, but he's not really watching it. When I ask him to play, sometimes he says, not right now, buddy, or maybe later. But later never comes. One time I asked him if Mommy was mad at me, and he said, no, she's just dealing with stuff, but he didn't look at me when he said it. I think maybe they're both mad at each other. When they argue, I hide behind the door. I don't want them to see me, but I listen. Mommy says she's going to leave, and Daddy tells her, go then, if that's what you want. I don't want Mommy to leave. I don't want Daddy to be mad. I wish I could make them stop saying those things. I wish we could just be happy again. One night, I heard Mommy say, "This isn't working anymore," and Daddy cried. I couldn't sleep after that. I don't know why they don't want to be together anymore. Did I do something bad? Is it because I didn't finish my vegetables? Or because I spilled juice on the couch last week? I try to be really good now, but they still don't smile at each other. I just want them to stop fighting. I want us to be like we used to be. But now, it feels like everything is broken. Mommy leaves the house sometimes, and when she comes back, she looks tired. Daddy doesn't talk much when she's gone. I asked Mommy if we could all go to Grandpa's house to play like we used to, but she said Daddy's busy. And when I asked Daddy, he said maybe another time. I don't think they want to go to Grandpa's house together anymore. I miss it when we all went. It was fun, and I felt happy. But now, it feels like everything is changing, and I don't know why. I miss the way they used to look at me, and at each other. Now, they look like they're mad, even when they say they're not. I don't understand why everything feels different. I just want us to be happy again, 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 happy again.
There's a silent unraveling that happens in some families. It's not sudden or dramatic. It's the slow erosion of what was once held together by love. The man and the woman, once so deeply connected, now stand on opposite sides of the same room, with a distance that feels insurmountable. They speak, but their words no longer carry warmth. They cut, they wound, and eventually, they stop trying to understand each other. The man, lost in his own disappointment, feels betrayed by life itself. He's angry, but not just at her. He's angry at the world, at the loss of the life he envisioned. He's too consumed by the weight of that loss to see the part he played, to recognize the small moments that led them here. Instead, he waits for her to leave, knowing deep down that she's already gone. It's not her absence that breaks him. It's the realization that love, as he knew it, was never as permanent as he believed. For the woman, the departure was not an act of spite, but survival. She clung to the hope that things might change, but day by day, she felt herself slipping away. The love she once felt became something foreign, something she could no longer recognize. She didn't want to leave, not really, but the quiet, unspoken sadness that filled their home was suffocating. She became a ghost of the person she once was, and leaving felt like the only way to find herself again. Yet, even in her leaving, there's an ache, a piece of her heart that remains with the life she's walking away from. But in the middle of this storm, unseen by both, is a child who doesn't fully understand why things have changed, but feels the shift in the air every day. The arguments, the silences, the moments of forced smiles, they weigh on the child in ways they can't yet explain. To them, the world used to be safe and full of laughter, but now it's filled with confusion. The once comforting rhythm of family life is replaced with a dissonance they cannot resolve. The child listens to the whispers behind closed doors, pieces together the fragments of conversations they shouldn't hear, and in their young mind, they begin to wonder, is it my fault? They don't understand the complexities of adult relationships, but they feel the tension, the unspoken pain, and it leaves an imprint. Every argument, every tearful look, every quiet dinner at the table, it tells the child that something is wrong, but without the words to explain it, the child fills the gaps with fear and guilt. The impact of this unraveling is profound. For the man, it means wrestling with the loss of love, with the bitterness of broken dreams. For the woman, it's a battle between the desire for freedom and the lingering sadness of a love that couldn't survive. And for the child, it's a scar, one that may not fully reveal itself until much later. but one that will shape their understanding of love, of family, of trust. This is the tragedy of it all. In the end, no one truly wins. They all carry the weight of what could have been and what was lost. The man and the woman may eventually find peace in their own ways, but the child will always remember the way love faded from their home. A lesson too soon learned, a story too soon ended. The quiet casualties of love lost are not just the ones who leave, but the ones who are left behind, watching, trying to make sense of a world that no longer feels safe. And that is perhaps the greatest tragedy of all.
Mariska, in the stillness I find my remorse. For the hurt I've caused, the love we've lost course. Thank you for the laughter, the joy that we shared, for the moments that shaped us, for showing you cared. Each memory we built like stars in the night illuminate my path, even when it feels tight. I cherish those days, each smile and each tear. In the tapestry of us, I hold you so dear. Yet as life unfolds, I see the truth clear. Our paths must diverge, though it brings me near fear. What's meant to be is a journey we'll take. With love in our hearts, we'll learn how to break. So here's my apology, wrapped in gratitude's light, for every moment, both gentle and bright. As we walk our own ways, know you're in my soul. Thank you, Mariska, for making me whole.